Hey everybody, and welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks. It's the Wednesday evening edition, and we've got lots to talk about this evening. There's been a pretty abrupt change in some of the modeling for the weekend. We'll talk about that towards the end of the video, and we'll get to it fairly quickly. We're going to kind of buzz through the next few days pretty fast this evening because there's not a lot to talk about. It was a seasonable day today. We got up to 39 at the airport today, although as expected, there was quite a variety in our temperatures from north to south today. It got close to 50 down towards East Liverpool before the end of the afternoon, whereas areas north of I-80 were pretty much stuck in the 30s. We had some 40s in parts of Mahoning and northern Columbiana County, 62 and 11 below the records today. All right, late in the afternoon, we had just a little bit of precipitation, some very light rain, some sleet pellets tried to mix in briefly, a couple of snowflakes. This is about it. This is, non-impactful stuff as expected, and it will go away tonight. You can see where that warm front has set up this evening. Pretty easy to find. It's kind of like right here. 58 still in Morgantown, 61 in Charleston, West Virginia, 60 in Lexington, Kentucky. And yeah, we're close to 30 degrees around here. Even in those places that warmed up pretty nicely today, it's going to cool off pretty significantly behind this weak little system tonight. Lots of cold air, no surprise here across the upper Midwest, the Great Plains states, 7 Minneapolis, 15 Rapid City, 10 Billings. This is going to seem balmy in a few days as the motherload of Arctic air, very more reminiscent of the middle of winter rather than very late winter or early spring. That's coming down the pike in a few days for parts of the U.S. So our weather benign for the next couple of days, I should say, as high pressure drifts across. We'll see an increase in clouds Thursday. It'll be a chilly day. I think it's less chilly coming up on Friday with a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine. We should make our way into the 40s on Friday. One little weak system will track our way as we head into Saturday, and this might produce a sprinkle or a flurry here and there Saturday. Again, mostly non-impactful. The bigger deal possibly coming our way on Sunday. All right, when I did Weather Geeks last evening, there was hardly any hint whatsoever that there'd be any sort of winter storm across the eastern U.S. over the course of the weekend. But boy, did that change over the last 18 hours, with computer models showing a disruptive winter storm somewhere in the eastern U.S., and this is primarily focused on Sunday, not so much Saturday again, but as we go into the day on Sunday. But there's a lot we don't know at this very early stage. For us, is this just a nuisance, or is it a little more of a disruptive, impactful snow? We don't know that yet. The exact track of the storm system always critically important when we have a winter storm, and that track of the storm system oftentimes governs whether or not it's just an old-fashioned snowstorm or some sort of mixed precipitation event, or even a miss. All right, I did this on 21 News at 6 o'clock. Just kind of a different way of illustrating forecast uncertainty. Everybody loves Plinko, right, on The Price is Right? Well, this is kind of the forecasting version of this. When you're several days out from any sort of weather event, it's kind of like the ball or the disc is up at the top of the Plinko board. When it's way up there, there's a whole lot of routes it could go on. And as the ball or the disc travels down the board, the number of its possible destinations tends to decrease, of course. Just like as we get closer to a weather event, the possible outcomes tends to decrease. You can kind of look at this as ensemble forecasting in a way. Sometimes we talk about ensemble forecasts as a way to mitigate the little nuances, the little bumps in the road as the ball comes south that could greatly impact where the forecast ends up. You can kind of think of it that way. But anyway, the bottom line is, as we get closer to any weather event, the number of plausible solutions does tend to decrease pretty rapidly, and I would expect that over the next 24 to at most 48 hours. We'll go from being a little bit kind of surprised by what the model showed today to having a pretty good handle on what to expect. I would expect by the latest on Friday. So hang in there. Possible we'll see some impactful snow over the weekend, or this could possibly miss us to the south. This is just a real early look at some of the medium range modeling. The European went bonkers today, showing a huge storm. The GFS, including the GFS ensemble, is way down here, and the European ensemble is way down here as well. It's not graphically shown here, but I can tell you that the ensemble system from the European Center is much lower than the operational run, which is the purple line up here. So, the operational run is exciting, but it's certainly an outlier at this point as far as plausible solutions go. I posted this on my Twitter earlier on. This is the last 12 runs of the GFS model. It went from having a benign, very cold day on Sunday to over the past few runs especially, all of a sudden, look at all this precipitation. It's showing an and then it blossoms into snow as we have the colder air in place on Sunday. So this really did suddenly kind of appear on some of the modeling over the last 12 to 18 hours. Here's a look at, I mentioned the European ensemble forecast system a minute ago. Here's a look at Sunday afternoon, and I'm just going to briefly stroll through a handful of the, what we call the members. There's 51 members of this ensemble modeling. And if you're new to this idea, ensemble modeling is, showing, how small changes in the initial conditions within a model can influence outcomes down the line. We're never going to be able to model the atmosphere perfectly. There's going to be inaccuracies in the initial conditions that are baked into any model. And to account for those initial condition errors, you have ensemble systems that show you a range of possibilities based on the likely initialization errors. So just scrolling through here, some of the runs here have a little snow, some have a lot of snow, some have almost nothing. A couple of these bring a rain-snow line up into the area, kind of reminiscent of the storm we saw a couple weeks ago. So you get the idea here. We're early in the game, and there's a lot of uncertainty. If you're looking at an app like the Weather Channel or AccuWeather or any app that has X amount of inches right there for you to consume, buyer beware. I sing this song a lot in the winter, but those apps serve a purpose, and if you're looking for a forecast that doesn't have much nuance, it's just going to tell you X amount of inches, go right ahead, but you're going to be disappointed more often than not because the forecasts from those apps are going to vary wildly based on the whims of the computer modeling. Head over to the Storm Tracker 21 app for a no-nonsense forecast from us. We are not going to put accumulations in at this early stage of the game. It's possible we'll have enough to shovel on Sunday. It's, at this point, probably equally possible it's just a nuisance or maybe even a miss for us. So, again, there's a lot we don't know. Stay tuned for more updates, of course, right here and on the app, on TV, and on social media. I'll see you back here Thursday evening.